Hello friends and welcome to the Unfocused YouTube channel, your destination for all content in MTG that get me sphere or basically whatever I want. I'd like to talk about ramp, the cards that bring us gifts of great mana in our times of need, bestowing upon us great efficiency and value. The way you think about these pieces in your deck building process can drastically change their effects. The typical guide will tell you to include 10 to 12 ramp pieces in your deck, and I would agree with that amount. What those guides don't do is tell you to separate your primary and supportive ramp pieces. What do I mean by this? Primary ramp pieces are cards that generate mana for you no matter what the circumstances. These are cards you can always rely on to do what they are built to do. Cards like Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Rampant Growth, Nature's Lore. Supportive ramp pieces tend to be cards with huge effects that generate a ton of burst mana, like Dockside Extortionist or Mana Geyser, or cards that fill another role in your deck, such as Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar, or Mana Echoes. While these cards are clearly incredibly powerful, they are most powerful when done in moderation. These cards have very high power ceilings, sometimes able to win the game on their own by comboing with other things or generating so much mana that no one can catch up with you, but they also have power floors lower than generic ramp. They bottom out at 0. If you have no creatures on board, the altars have nothing to sacrifice for mana. If it's early in the game and your opponents don't have artifacts and enchantments, your Dockside does nothing when it enters the battlefield. In the case of a talisman, however, no matter when I draw it, if I play it, it'll tap for 1. That never fluctuates, that never changes. Floor and ceiling are the same. And that's good to build your deck around. You want that reliable backbone in your mana base. I cannot tell you how many times I've been disappointed to see an Ashnod's Altar in my hand in my early deck building days. One of my first commander decks was an aristocrat strategy. And it's easy to get caught up in those powerful cards, your altars and your crazy sacrifice effects, and there's no way I'm never gonna have creatures on board to sacrifice, but it comes around more often than you might think. With people board wiping all the time, or especially if it's a particularly powerful deck, they're going to be taking out your creatures, and it can be disappointing to have in hand. Having a larger base of general ramp helps your deck work more reliably. If the number is 10 to 12 ramp pieces, I would aim for at least 8 or 9 generic ramp pieces. This helps give you a suitable mana base to build your deck around, and it saves a few slots for those supportive ramp pieces that synergize with what your deck is doing. With that, you'll get the consistency of the mana rocks and that high power ceiling of those few synergistic pieces to ensure your deck runs smoothly enough to get those cards out. While I do set a goal for my primary ramp, I don't with supportive pieces. Of course, you want a few more of those cards to round out your ramp, but you could throw in as many as you want. You can run the altars for their sackability and throw in your Dockside and Smothering Tithe and gain that big mana. Everybody loves those cards. But the important part about this is it helps you assess their true value with the deck, because you have to think about it in the terms of a spell slot, not just a ramp piece. And that's why this thought process is super important. It helps you truly assess whether a card is worth it to be in the deck or not. Do they fill multiple roles? In the case of an aristocrat strategy, I already want free sack outlets and now I'm generating mana with the altars. That's awesome. If I'm generating a lot of tokens or I'm in a tribal strategy, I'm going to want mana echoes in my deck because it's giving me so much mana and benefiting from something I'm already doing. Is that burst mana really important to your strategy? Things like Dockside Extortionist and Mana Geyser. Is that mana going to help you get to a win condition or perhaps play a huge X spell that wins the game? It's these kind of questions that help your decks be better. The key takeaway for this video is that you can run as many or as little of these supports as you want, but if you want a smooth deck, don't replace your standard ramp. Doing this can hurt your deck's ability to run like you want it to. We all want to see our deck succeed, and this has helped my deck building process substantially over the years, and I can only hope that it does for you as well. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, and don't if you didn't. Consider subscribing if you like content like this. I have a lot more coming out, not just for Magic, but D&D and a few other things as well. Let me know in the comments what you think of this advice, and let me know what changes you've made to your process that's helped your decks run better. Till next time.